as a country. Madam Speaker, this cannot continue. It cannot continue as business as usual, and that is why we are climbing down in terms of borrowing. Madam Speaker, I just wish to say a few highlights, then I sit down. I wish that members can capture this, because this is now where the resources are. Number one, Madam Speaker, our biggest ticket in terms of spending this financial year of consideration is education. Madam Speaker, we have allocated 630 billion Kenya shillings into our education sector. Madam Speaker, of all the factors of production that we have as a country, as the Budget and Appropriations Committee, and as this House, Madam Speaker, the highest priced, Madam Speaker, is the people of Kenya, the human capital. And that is why we are putting a third of our budget into refining, into adding value to our labor. Madam Speaker, we are putting 26 billion Kenya shillings into capitation of our JSS. Madam Speaker, in other words, we are almost doubling our JSS capitation, because we want to take care of the next year's class, Madam Speaker, which will be a new class in January. Mr. Speaker, yes, I've seen how we have a Mr. Mr. Speaker, we have also allocated monies for school feeding program for the children who go to school, Mr. Speaker, coming from areas that are ravaged by drought. Madam Speaker, we have allocated 5 billion Kenya shillings. Mr. Speaker, sorry, I'm mixing Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Madam, because we have had a change of the Speaker on the chair. Mr. Speaker, I can see my time is almost up. I just want to highlight the others in quick succession. We have allocated, Mr. Speaker, an extra 10 billion Kenya shillings into NGCDF. In the next financial year, we have allocated an extra 1 billion Kenya shillings into GAF. Mr. Speaker, we have doubled our allocation into higher education loans board from 16 billion on this financial year to 30 billion Kenya shillings in the next financial year, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there are many other areas which we have allocated a lot of money, Mr. Speaker. We have allocated 3 billion Kenya shillings into finishing 181 markets that we have started during the economics, the 208 ESP, Mr. Speaker. 3 billion Kenya shillings into finishing all those. We have allocated money into operationalizing the 21 KMTCs that are already complete, Mr. Speaker, across our
Order. Order, honorable members. It's not your discretion, it's the discretion of the chair. Proceed and have your 2 minutes. Order. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to refer to these ones, the rest we had, because I want to mention all of them. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated 2 billion Kenya shillings. These are just the highlights of resettling the squatters in many areas where we have absentee landlords. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated monies into finishing the ongoing TVETs, Mr. Speaker, across our constituencies. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated monies, 10 billion Kenya shillings, into the equalization fund, Mr. Speaker. We have allocated, Mr. Speaker, I had said about 5 billion Kenya shillings into fertilizer and other, Mr. Speaker, value chains within agriculture and the rest. Mr. Speaker, around the same year, we anticipate to also spur our digital economy. We have allocated money into fiber optic. Mr. Speaker, we are receiving some money from the Universal Fund, and we'll be receiving some money also from World Bank. Mr. Speaker, I want to add by saying that this particular financial year, we have not just drawn money into projects.